Welcome to episode 149 of the Sports Marketing Machine podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Neisser. This is the podcast to help you sell more tickets and grow your fan base. This episode, we're going to talk about something that I've been seeing more and more in proposals that are coming from agencies, marketing agencies that teams are discussing or talking to or reviewing the opportunity for that agency to run paid media for them for a specific time period, could be for the whole season or what have you. One of the lines that I see in there is performance maxed, or as it's usually pitched, we're going to let Google's AI do the work. Boy, that sounds great, right? Less work, smarter targeting, more sales. But there's a problem. Lots of sports teams are being sold automation instead of strategy, and Performance Max is often the perfect place to hide automation instead of strategy. So today, I'm going to explain what PMax actually is in plain English and show you how some agencies, not all of them, are using it to mask their weak marketing strategy. Not because PMax is evil, because it's very easy to misuse, especially for sports teams. Let's go. Let's start off with what Performance Max or PMax, what actually is it in simple English? First things first, PMax lives inside of Google Ads. Traditionally, when you run or see Google Ads, you're going to see search ads. So if you go into the search of Google and you type something in there, those ads that say sponsored ads at the top, that's search ads. Display ads are typically images or some sort of GIF that's moving. YouTube ads, discovery ads. That's what traditionally you would see if you were hopping in Google Ads to place ads. You get to decide the keyword, the audiences, the placements, the budgets, the creative, all of those things you used to decide inside of Google. Now Google says Performance Max is simple. They keep it simple for you. So with PMax, you say, okay, here's my goal. Usually I want to make conversions. I want to sell tickets. Here's my budget, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, whatever it is. And here are some images, headlines, and videos. Similar to the Facebook, the Meta ads campaigns that I've shared and some of the tips for 2026. It is very similar. You got to give it a lot of content there for it to be able to get out there and work. PMax works the same way. You give it a bunch of images, you give it a bunch of headlines, and a bunch of videos, and Google decides where the ads show, who sees them, which creative runs when, and when to scale and when to throttle back. Basically, it's saying we're going to run Google Ads on autopilot. So if this was a car, and you're my age, almost 45, traditional campaigns, that's the manual transmission. You're controlling everything. PMax is full self-driving mode like you would see in a fancy Tesla. Like that's what I'm explaining here. So traditional campaigns, you would be in charge of all of it. And a lot of people over the years have said, Google Ads are just too complex. It's too confusing. There's a lot going on underneath the hood, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. That's when they rolled out PMax, and it's probably been out for a little over a year, if not a little bit longer. But basically, PMax is designed to you put everything in there, you hit go, and off it goes, and yet let Google do the work. The problem with that, and this is the point that I want to drive home, Performance Max is not a strategy. It's an execution layer, and that distinction matters tremendously. If you just say, hey, here you go, Google, here's everything, I just want you to go, right? There's no strategy there. You're just asking it to go out there and go find people to buy stuff. There is no strategy. So why does Performance Max sound so great to sports teams, and why are agencies including it in their proposal? On paper, PMax sounds incredible for teams. Google's going to go out and find ticket buyers just for you. Ads are going to show everywhere automatically. You don't have to decide. You don't have to manage keywords. AI optimizes everything. And honestly, for agencies, it's super attractive because, well, it's super simple to launch. It requires less ongoing work, and it scales easily across many clients. And of course, it's going to give you some good looking reports to say, hey, your ads, your impressions are all over these places, and here's what we're going to be able to tell you. They're going to show you lots of conversions, a low cost per action, a high return on ad spend, which really, to me, brings us to a danger zone. First of all, you've basically just said, Google, here's everything, here's the keys, go. But you didn't give it a strategy. You didn't give it the direction of what you truly want and what you're trying to go after here. So what really I'm afraid of with PMax, where it often lies to sports teams, and this is the uncomfortable truth, Performance Max is only as smart as the data you feed it. And most teams' data is messy. There is no doubt about it. You have single game buyers from one year to the next. You've got spreadsheets for managing groups. You've got spreadsheets for sponsors. You've got spreadsheets upon spreadsheets upon spreadsheets. And a lot of data is stuck in your ticketing software, but you've got data inside your emails. You've got 19 different tools that you're using. It's just messy. The problem that I see with this is oftentimes PMax optimizes for the wrong win. If your tracking isn't perfect, PMax might optimize for page views, begin checkout, not completion, returning season ticket holders. They will claim that they should get credit for season ticket holders that renew, or even branded search terms. So like Bismarck Lark's tickets inside of Google, right? They're going to track for a lot of those things. Not the most important thing to you, which is conversions, new ticket buyers, return ticket buyers. So you may get a report that says, hey, you got 500 conversions this month, but your attendance didn't change. You look in your bank account and revenue was not the same of what they're sharing, and your CRM didn't grow. That's not growth. That's actually credit stealing. And that's what I see oftentimes with a lot of agencies, is that they are saying, hey, we're doing great. We're doing kicking butt over here. We're seeing all these things that are happening. We've got great conversions. And you look at your bank account and your ticket sales, you're like, no, you don't. You're like, what you're saying and what's actually happening are two worlds apart. The second problem that I see with PMax is it loves people who are already buying. So if someone types in Springfield Lucky Horseshoe tickets, all of a sudden, you would think as they type that in there, they are looking to buy. That is near the bottom of the funnel. PMax says, hey, boom, that's a conversion. Even though that fan already knew the team, they were already pretty close to buying anyway, and PMax didn't really create the demand that we're really hoping for. You just paid Google to go out and catch a sale that was coming anyway. Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me of why you're going to allow PMax to go after keywords that you're going to already convert on anyway. Now, the only caveat here is you want PMax to run when you have competition. So StubHub or SeatGeek are running keywords and ads against you. Now that would totally make sense where you're winning in those situations and you're winning the sale versus letting StubHub take it or SeatGeek or someone like that. The third problem that I see with PMax is you actually lose control. And we are control freaks in sports, no doubt about it. Like, this is huge for sports teams. What happens is PMax blends everything together. Families, students, corporate buyers, diehard fans, casuals, night on the towners, all of those, they dump them all into one campaign, one blended message. And we know that families need to be spoken to one specific way. Students are looking for something completely different from them. The casual fan may not need the promotions or what have you. They just want to see, hey, do they have a game tonight or what have you. Laps fans already know, like, and trust you. They just need a reason to return. All of these different audiences are to be spoken to differently. It's like if I said to you, hey, do you want to come to Bluey night this Sunday? And you're like, Jeremy, I don't have kids. I don't care about Bluey. Like, they're just dumping everyone into the same bucket. PMax doesn't care about the nuance about that. It cares about volume. So when agencies use PMax, oftentimes they're hiding a weak strategy. And this is the uncomfortable part, and this is where Performance Max can be dangerous. Some agencies use PMax because it hides who the ads actually reached, hides why conversions happened, and hides what messagings actually worked. Whereas inside of Meta, when you're running it, you can say, hey, I want to create this ad. I've got an image of families. I want to go out and target families. This is my family ad, where you have control of it, where Google is just going to throw everyone in the same bucket and they're just going to go out there and get you all of that. But they won't actually tell you who the ads reached. They're going to give you a big number. They're going to hide why people bought. And what that happens is that allows them to avoid answering hard questions like, who are we actually targeting? Are these new ticket buyers or repeat ticket buyers? Which promotions are pulling in the first timers? Are we targeting families? Are those the ones that bought? Who bought? Which audiences are growing? Instead, you're going to get a report that's one big old blended campaign with one blended metric. And the vague takeaway here is, hey, it's working. We can see conversions. Really, the red flag sentence I hear is, we don't really need to segment. AI handles all of that, which tells me, as a guy that firmly believes in the sales funnel, filling the top of the funnel with people trying to grow it through impressions. The middle of the funnel, you're trying to get people excited. Oftentimes they're repeat buyers. And then the bottom, you're trying to get people to come out. So what I hear when I hear we don't really need to segment, AI handles all of that, it tells me that the agency doesn't have a clear picture of what your sales funnel should look like. And another red flag to me is that performance will take care of the full funnel. No, it will not, because it takes care of Google's funnel, not yours. Remember, Google's in the business to make money. You really have to keep your hands on the steering wheel, even with performance backs, because Google is in the business to make money. They are in the business to grow what they've got going on, not necessarily dedicated caring about everything that your business and what have you. So if your agency can't clearly explain what's happening in the top of the funnel, what's happening in the bottom of the funnel, can't tell you new versus returning buyers, they can't tell you brand search terms versus non-branded search terms and the demand, PMax becomes a very convenient smokescreen, and this is their way of saying, hey, I'm going to let AI do all the work and we're going to kick butt. And it's, to me, that's just a smokescreen. That's them hiding actual work. So I've kind of beat up PMax a lot. Now let's talk about when it can make sense for a team. PMax isn't useless. It can work when your purchase tracking is rock solid, when you can separate new versus returning buyers. You understand incrementally. You understand how the process works of getting impressions and eyeballs and driving traffic and retargeting and what comes out and understanding average order value. You are all about defending your branded search terms against companies like StubHub, Ticketmaster, and SeatGeek and others. You're selling merchandise to non-local fans. Like, absolutely PMax could work. And I think it's a marvelous supporting channel, but it's a supporting channel, not the entire strategy. So if your ad agency says, hey, we're just going to run PMax and this will be really our main strategy and maybe we'll mix in some meta, like, you might want to start having conversations with other ad agencies. But the mind shift that I want you to take away with, automation does not replace strategy. Automation does not replace strategy. Automation will amplify whatever strategy you have, but it does not replace it. So if you have a strategy and you feel strong about it, PMax can help scale it. If you don't have a strategy, PMax will hide it. So for most teams, the smarter path looks like you want clear search campaigns, YouTube for awareness and hype, paid social for segmentation and storytelling, retargeting with some sort of intention, and creative that matches the audience type. Then maybe layer in PMAX once you fully understand your funnel. If you don't have your funnel figured out of how you want to get after people in specific different areas with your ad spend, like, don't start going with PMAX and don't say yes to that agency, because if you don't understand it, they're not going to clearly articulate it to you. All right, so here's the bottom line. Big takeaway for you as you're having discussions with ad agencies. Performance Max isn't good or bad. It is very, very powerful. It's not bad. Jeremy says it's terrible. Nope, Jeremy didn't say that. It's terrible in specific situations. Jeremy said it's good. Well, I didn't say that either. It depends on certain situations. It is only powerful with the clarity that you have about your sales funnel. Without clarity, PMAX is going to get super duper expensive. So if you can't explain to your ad agency, or your ad agency can't explain to you who you're targeting, why fans are buying, how new fans are entering the system, then PMAX isn't a shortcut. It's essentially a blindfold. So if you're currently running PMAX and want to know, is this actually driving new buyers, or just reporting easy wins, or you're having a conversation with your ad agency around PMAX, right? I'm happy to answer some questions for you, as maybe you were just introduced to PMAX from an ad agency that just pitched you and you want to learn a little bit more. I'm happy to break all of it down and detail it. I'm in the business to educate you so that you can sell more tickets and grow your fan base. So if you're interested in talking about PMAX and is it right for your team, and maybe you've got an ad agency, hop right over to sportsmarketingmachine.com, drop me a line, let's schedule a call. I'm all ears. I'm all about helping you grow, sell more tickets. There's no charge at all. I just want to see you win. And I also don't want to see you get ripped off. I want to see your communities thrive because you're getting more fans to your games and you're growing and your community is loving what you're doing. I don't want you to step onto a big hole when you haven't figured out your sales funnel. You haven't figured out how you're structuring, I want to get new buyers, how I'm getting the warm buyers. If you haven't figured that part out, then it's not the agency's job to really tell you. You should have a pretty good understanding of what that funnel will look like and really unpack that as you have those conversations with the agency. But like I said, if you've got questions, just curious about it, and I'm completely happy just discussing it with you, hop onto my website, sportsmarketingmachine.com, and schedule a call. Until next time.